right. Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome. Let me know if you can hear and see me okay. Welcome to everybody who's been waiting. Hey, Ruby, Nix, Kelly, Beck, Laura, Mary, Nita. So happy to see you all here today. Emily, Melissa, we got Planning with Jay in the chat right now. All right, Brigitte, welcome everybody. I'm so excited to be hanging out with you all today. Again, just let me know if you can hear and see everything, just so I can be sure that everything is working. And we'll get started in just a couple minutes. Awesome. It looks like everything is working good. Hey, Rachel, Angela, Leela. Welcome, everybody. I am so excited to be designing some new stickers today with you guys. Oops, make sure I'm not accidentally drawing anything here. I am working on designing my new Campfire monthly sticker collection. I have finished my first sheet of headers here, and I've been designing these on some Patreon live streams. And I thought today we would go ahead and start designing some more sheets in this collection. And I'm excited about that. And of course, we have our Luna cam as well. Luna is chilling right next to me on her chair, sleeping. So we'll have her hanging out in the corner up there live with us as well. Thank you so much, everyone who's enjoying this theme so far. Yeah, so in the upper right, that is Luna on her chair. But yeah, I'm also going to be making this another fundraiser live stream. So if I scoot this out of the way, I have my, let me see here. Try to get this in view. I have some instructions here on donating. I also have this in the description down below as well. But the deal is that if you donate $10 or more to any organization that focuses on racial equality or supporting Black lives, I will send you some free stickers from this collection. It's going to be some sort of free page, probably the first page of headers, I think, since that's already done. So yeah, if you donate $10 or more to any such organization, I'll just commit. I will send you this sheet for free. So $10 or more, and you can just email me, contact@planningwithkay.com with a screenshot, as well as your full name and address. And I will go ahead and send you a free sticker sheet. You're also welcome to use the super chat function if that's easier. It is generally better to just donate directly to an organization, which is why I have the email instructions. Again, that's also down in the description below if you want to see the donation instructions again. But $10 via the super chat will work as well because I am donating all of my YouTube revenue. So just depends on what you guys want to go with. But I wanted to make that offer. If you donate, I will send you the sticker sheet for free. So with that, I think I will start to get started. There's 60 of us hanging out right now, which is so amazing. Oh, and Annie just said apparently it's International Bullet Journal Day. So happy International Bullet Journal Day, everybody. It looks like it's also International Cat Day. So today's just the best day ever, basically. Okay, so I'm going to go to this angle here, make sure we're all focused, and let's start to figure out our next sheet here. So usually after I design my first sheet of headers, I like to go in and start doing the decorative sheets since I already have decorative elements laid out. So for example, with my carnival theme, let me turn on all my layers here. There we go. My carnival theme, I first designed this sheet of headers here, and then I went and started designing the decorative sheets and all of that. So what I'm actually going to do then is duplicate this first sheet of headers, and I'm going to start adjusting that to get the decorative components that we want here. And welcome, Ali, hi, Zarain, Christine, Beth, Amanda, good afternoon, Laurel, Victoria. I'm so happy to have so many of you hanging out with me this morning or afternoon, evening. I know it is in some of your time zones. It's currently 11:12 in the morning here in Portland. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and delete my backgrounds. I'm going to turn off all my clipping masks here. And let me also... Okay. So let's start to figure everything out here. I'm going to get rid of my borders. This is how everything looks underneath when all the clipping masks are turned off and such. So I'm going to turn off all of my leaves in the background, and let's start to separate out our little doodles and such here. So I want to grab my bear because I think he would make an adorable doodle. I have some good fires here that I can use. Our little hedgehog guy, of course. And I'll also grab this whole Luna scene here. And I believe that's all on the same layer now. So I'm just going to cut and paste all of that from there. Get my little dot grid background here and start to piece some things together. I also have the star layer I can delete. I hope you're all having a great weekend. Sounds like Ruby is using the hummingbird theme. Thank you, Christine. I really appreciate that. All right. I'm just going to delete or erase some of the stray marks around these. If you're interested in receiving this collection once it's done as soon as possible, you can always wait for my shop release. But if you want it even sooner than that, I recommend signing up for Patreon. I'm going to be shipping this out as soon as it's done. And that's always the fastest way to receive the newest collections if you ever want. So that's linked down below in case you guys are interested. Or you can always just wait for the normal shop release that will happen. Right. Hey, Trinity, you're also in Portland. How are you enjoying the kind of cloudier, gloomier weather the last couple days? Well, actually, yesterday was quite hot, but the day before that, it was gloomy. And I always really like that. I like getting a change in the weather. I don't like when the weather stays the same for too long. So I really like when we get some random gloom. Oh, Mary's using the peony kit this month. I love knowing what different themes you guys are using, if you're using my sticker themes for your monthly spreads. Yeah, I'm thinking I want to include a couple of like our animals in different positions on our decorative sheet, but not entirely decided yet. I'm just kind of winging it. But I love our little hedgehog. He's way too cute. So I'm going to start sort of separating out my different decorative elements here. I know I definitely want a few fires. Since this is the campfire theme after all. So we definitely got to have some fires. I'm not sure though exactly how I want to present them. If I want them on their own or if I actually want to maybe create some backgrounds behind them. But we'll see. Nick said, did something happen to the live? It looks like you're in it. It should be going live, so I don't think anything has happened. Okay, maybe rein in some of these bits so it's a little bit more of a more compact sticker. I'm also going to make sure that the glow stays relatively contained so that once I actually stickerify this, it has, you know, a decent outline and it's not like way out from the fire because there's all this random glow around it. All right. So there's one fire. Let's grab this fire down here. Hey, Marisa. Welcome. Yeah, and then once I finish laying in these components that I already drew as a part of the main headers, that's when I'll then also start to draw in some extra doodles to fill out the sheet. Hey, Luke, welcome. I've only been going for about 15 minutes, so you're not really that late. No worries. Okay. Clean up the top here. And then I'll probably add to this fire to pull it all together. All right, I'm going to use my airbrush eraser to soften some of those edges I made. And now I'll show you guys how I'm making these fires. And the key has been the light brush. Here, I'll go back to this view. This light brush that's in the luminance section of Procreate. These are what I use for things that are kind of light dependent, like fires, and I use it a lot for like this nebula for my skies and such, but they just all have this really nice glow to them. So I'm going to use the light brush in some orangey, reddish yellow colors to add some stuff to my fire. Here's an actual, it's tricky with the cameras to really pick up the iPad screen well. So this is actually the projection of my iPad screen. So this is showing kind of the more true colors here. I like to flip back to that every now and then so that you can see how it actually looks. Choose a more reddish color and a smaller brush. Yeah, Nix, that's kind of what I was thinking as well, is that I'm thinking I'm going to put some sort of background behind these fires. And I was kind of thinking the same thing, maybe like the sky background that I have, just so that they can really stand out and kind of tie into and match the theme more as well. So I'm also going to add some more of these dots and embers kind of floating up. Because I do like those. Let's do some in orange. Let me also bring our Luna cam back. And then, oh, let me also add some little flame bits kind of continuing up here. I'm going to use like a darker reddish orange for that. Let's actually have this sort of continue out from here. Okay, sort of like that. Hey, Riku, welcome. So happy you're able to make it. Okay. So, let's see here. Awesome. I like that. And now, just shrink that to size here. Merge all that together. And one more time. Oops, let me turn my phone volume off. Hey, Melanie, welcome. Cool. I like those. Yeah, so now I'm going to, again, just clean up the edges since I have some glow. It's kind of extending off of there. Just like that. All right, again, here's the actual view. Hey, Cara, welcome. All right, let me see what other fires I have here. So I do have this one. On this layer. I feel like I might as well just create my own new ones instead of trying to make that one work. So Cara is asking about how I format my headers. I'm not like totally sure where you're struggling with that, obviously, but how I generally do like my rectangular headers is I will take a screenshot of my screen and then drag that in. And this is how I create my rectangles. So then I will format my headers by creating my different rectangles on the screen, copy and pasting and such to create those. And then once I have them all laid out, I'll then just go ahead and like fill that in with a solid color and start from there. And that's how I usually start with my headers and everything. Okay. Again, I'm just going to keep organizing what I have on the sheet first and then go from there. So I love this little bear in his tent. So we'll stick him up here, have him hang out with our hedgehog for now. Obviously the scale is a little bit off, but our hedgehog would not be visible if we did him to scale next to our bear. So all right. So we got our little Luna here. So I want to try to erase this fire from her scene. And first just get our little Luna hanging out in her hammock with nothing else around her. So we'll go like that. Start to go like this. I'm going to select all this, use my smudge tool to blend those colors together now. And I'm gonna grab this darker color, grab my airbrush. Now, final fade of that. All right, just like that. Look, it looks like just how Luna looks like up in the corner here. Just sleeping. Okay. So let's get rid of this guy. So I think if I, there we go. Looks a little bit more accurate now. It's not quite so blown out. Kinetria, just lots of practice. I've been creating digital art on my iPad every single month for like 3 years or something like that, 2 years plus at this point. So just got to keep practicing and trusting in the process. Okay, I think I'm also going to get a version of Luna not in the hammock. So let me copy and paste this part and start to erase the unnecessary bits. Ruby asked, will I be making my logo a sticker? I've actually made it so that all my new releases for the last few months and everything that is going to be new and continuing in the future is going to have the logo on my sticker sheet cut out. I think I have an example. For example, I have this sticker sheet here and the logo comes right off like that. So if anyone, I know some people like to use the my logo to keep track of live streams and releases and such. So actually keep an eye out on any newer themes or stickers that you've ordered or Patreon rewards as well, because they all have the little cutout logo. did that after somebody had requested the same thing. And I was like, I'll just make the logo a sticker on my sheets. Also, in case anyone missed the announcement in the beginning, I also have the instructions for this in the description down below, but I will be sending this sticker sheet here for free to anybody who makes a donation of $10 or more to any organization that focuses on racial equality or supporting Black lives. You can also make a super chat donation in the live stream right now as well. But it's easier and preferable to donate straight to the organizations. So do that if you can, if you want to receive this sticker sheet here for free. And you can donate, send me a screenshot with your full name and address to contact@planningwithkay.com. I have that, again, the instructions down in the description as well. But this is the sticker sheet that I'm going to send to anybody who donates $10 or more today. So wanted to remind you of that as well, just in case you want to get your hands on this sticker sheet even earlier, because if you do that, I'll send that out super soon. So in case you're interested and want to get your hands on this sheet of headers, go ahead and make a donation of $10 or more today. Again, if you can always use the super chat function because I'm donating all of my YouTube revenue as well. But if you want to donate straight to the organizations, just shoot me an email. And actually, if you make a super chat donation as well, also shoot me an email, but we'll get there. All right. So let's keep digging at our Luna cat here. Hey, Holly. What calligraphy pens are good for a beginner journalist? I use the Tombow Fudenosuke brush pen. That's what I've been using basically since I started bullet journaling, and it's what I still use. So I definitely recommend that one to anyone, whether you're a beginner or not. I just think that that's a really good pen. It's my tried and true journaling pen for calligraphy. And I do have that linked in the description down below. It's, again, the Tombow Fudenosuke brush pen. So if you did want to check that out, I have a supply list down below that's in the description of all of my videos. So if anyone's ever curious about supplies, I will generally always have it linked in the description down below for you guys. Oh, I can't read today. Scruffster asked if am I going to be doing new Thanksgiving and Christmas stickers this year? Not entirely sure. I imagine that I probably will. Maybe not Thanksgiving, but typically I end up doing something for Halloween and also something um, for Christmas. But since everything is decided via Patreon polls, I can never really say for certain because it'll depend on what theme options are in the poll for those months, and just gonna have to wait and see. Cute. I am using, for anyone who's wondering, I'm using the app Procreate on an iPad with the Apple Pencil. I like all of you who just discovered that the logos are stickers. I'm so happy that you guys find that useful and exciting. It was a nice, easy adjustment for me, so it was my pleasure. Okay, so almost got all my doodles separated that I've already done for my headers. And again, then I'll start to figure out what other doodles I want to add to this whole collection here. And if you guys did want to see me designing the headers that I already created for this, I do have a couple of Patreon live streams where we were doing these designs available. One of them is a $3 patron or Patreon live stream, and another is a $5 stream. So if you're interested, those are still always available to watch if you join Patreon. Oh, thank you so much, Luke and Emily. And I definitely have a lot of patrons that are in this chat right now, since that's where I do so much of my live streams on Patreon. That's like the live stream regulars. But I really appreciate you guys saying how much you enjoy Patreon. I love Patreon as well. I love all my patrons over there, and it's just a fun, like much smaller, more personal community if you guys are ever interested in that. And of course, there's also automatic sticker deliveries every month. So, along with a bunch of other fun content. So, if you guys are ever interested in checking that out, you can always try it out for $1 a month. You still get a little taste of everything there. Oh, Luna's like doing some cute sniffing. Are you snoofing? She's a cutie. I often get distracted by Luna during my live streams, but I just can't help it. The planners to nannies. I love you guys. You guys are great. Okay. Keep getting distracted. Okay, so we got some of our things separated out here. Again, I'm just going to try to clump them together so we can assess. Let me see if there's anything else from this sheet that I can grab. This is actually a very nice fire here. Wonder if I can grab that. Yeah, let's do it. Thank you guys so much to my patrons who are explaining things to people for me. I really appreciate that. It's always a little difficult to keep up with the chat and get everyone's questions answered, but I definitely want everyone's questions answered, so I appreciate y'all. But yeah, now is, if you have been wanting to join Patreon, now is a great time to do it since it's still early in the month. So you'll get all sorts of different rewards throughout this month. And I'm also getting a head start on things this month. So rewards should be shipping out quite a bit sooner than they have been the last few months. So yeah, if you've been wanting to try it out, of course, I'm obviously biased, but you know, maybe pull the trigger on that this month and try it out. Yeah, and just in general, if you're wondering what stickers come with what tiers, it's guaranteed every month that the $15 tier gets the 3-sheet monthly kit and the freebie sheet. The $25 tier gets that along with the decorative sheet and the functional matching add-on sheet. And then the $30 tier comes with an exclusive Patreon sheet as well that is different and changes every month. And then I usually do throw in some sort of extras more often than not, whether that's oops sheets that I throw in, or sometimes I actually include extra sheets from the collection with certain tiers. For example, everyone got a free sheet during the paint stroke collection. Other months, I've included a calendar with everybody's rewards. Just depends month to month, but the base of it being the monthly kit and freebie, the decorative sheet and the add-on, and then the Patreon exclusive sheet stays pretty constant. And there's also no shipping costs. So shipping is free. You're just paying the base, you're just paying for the Patreon membership. There aren't any extra charges or anything like that. So especially if you're an international person, it's definitely a little bit extra incentive in case you want to avoid shipping charges. Oh, and you also get all of the digital sticker files for whatever physical stickers your tier receives. So if you're in the $30 tier, then you also get all of the digital files for the collection as well. And if you're a digital planner only, or if you only want the digital stickers, you can just opt out of the physical rewards when you sign up, and you can do it just to get the digital stickers if you want to do that as well. I know that there's a lot more digital planners these days, so I have a few patrons I know who opt out of the physical rewards and just want um, the digital stickers. And if you join as well, you get like all of the content from the last 2 years from ever since I started my Patreon. So you get all of the live streams, every single download, you get access to everything. So I've been posting the digital files for the last like 7 themes. So if you join the $15 plus tiers, you also will then gain access to the plants and pages, springtime snapshots, rainy day, tulip field, farmers market, paint stroke, and the carnival collection. All of the digital files you'll gain access to. So especially if you're keen on the digital files, that's like a super hack because you can get all those digital collections for a lot cheaper than if you were to want to buy them all individually. So all useful information if you're interested in that. But of course, you never have to join Patreon to receive the normal sticker collections, as they do all become available in the shop eventually. But if you want to get them quicker, or you're interested in getting all the extra content, then I think you'll really like Patreon. Brigitte asked, will I be releasing more of the older themes as digital? I definitely will. And it's just like a matter of time for me to do it. but that's on like my long-term to-do list. Is I will at some point have all my past themes released digitally. I think I'm going to use the upcoming holidays probably as an excuse to finally get that done and get everything listed digitally. Um, Hopefully, at least for like my big New Year's type sale. I would really love to have it done by then. So, fingers crossed on that. The more that people kind of, hound me about it, definitely the more I mentally push it to the front of my to-do list. But it's just it's just like a lot of busy work to get that done. It's a lot of just like exporting files and all sorts of stuff that isn't really too fun. So that's why it hasn't been done yet, because it is going to be a lot of work to get all of that done. But it is going to happen. I promise. I like to try to make these the same size. So if you want to use them all with each other, you can. Can I talk more about my New Year's sale? I don't have any specifics in place now, but just in general around, my biggest sale times that I do are Black Friday and then usually around Christmas and New Year's. And that's where I'll have sort of like just bigger sales. I usually have 30% off bundles around that time. Last Black Friday, I did like a one of everything bundle, fun stuff like that. But that's usually when I try to do my biggest runs of sales where I get, the percentages go up a lot more and I do fun things like bundles and all sorts of starter kits and stuff like that. So especially for like, even if by Black Friday I could have all the digital up, I think that would be a lot of fun. It'd be cool to maybe offer something that's a full, like some digital bundles. Um, but yeah, mostly time will tell as that time becomes closer and start to piece the details together more. But I think that I'm planning on doing some bundles coming up soon. I want to do a Halloween bundle since I have quite a few Halloween themes in my arsenal. And I also want to do an early Christmas bundle. I want to offer bundles that you guys can order now and be a little bit more confident that they're going to arrive in time for those holidays, since shipping is pretty unpredictable these days. It's actually nice. A lot of the international Patreon rewards that I sent out last month arrived in like a week, super fast. But sometimes shipping can take a long time depending. It's just all very unpredictable right now. But yeah, so I want to get like a Halloween bundle, a Christmas bundle, and some more, see maybe like a fall bundle, something like that, and get those up in the shop. And I'm thinking I'll do that. I'm going to be filming a migration video pretty soon. And I was thinking I would do the bundles as a part of my migration release. It's kind of the plan. Thank you so much for listing out the reward descriptions, Luke. I really appreciate that. Yeah, and Andrea, if you're worried that maybe it got lost in the mail, if you have received other things already that were sent after anything like that, let me know and I can always send you a replacement. Okay. So, anything else from here? Okay, let me delete these other layers that I don't need. Let's see, what do I have on this layer? I can probably just create new trees if I need it. I can create new bushes if I need it as well. Okay, so I'm going to play around with these fires here. I'm thinking of maybe doing some with the kind of bushes in the background, maybe instead of the sky that I had, but let's play around with it a little bit. So I'm going to start off by spacing these out. I'm going to create a layer behind them. And I'm going to throw some bushes back here. So I'm actually going to import in my headers so that I can be sure to pull from these colors. So I'm just going to take a screenshot of that and drag it in here. Thank you so much, Angela. Thank you, Erica, as well. I'm so glad you guys are liking this collection. It's always like, and I talked about this during a live stream not too long ago to my patrons, but I was saying like I still get nervous with every time I show or reveal like a new theme. Just because I guess nervous isn't the right word, but I just get excited to hear about, you know, what you guys think of it, and see how excited everybody is for it. And it seems like you all have just been extra stoked about this kit. So that makes me super, super happy. Definitely love hearing that. Okay, so for my bushes, there is a brush in Procreate called, what's it called? I think Paper Daisy. I can't really see the title too well. It's called Paper Daisy, and it creates, just does all the work for you, basically. It's great. So what I do is I layer that brush with different colors to create the shading I'm looking for. So for these, I'm just gonna do the bushes all at once, and then I'm gonna kind of trim them from there. So it's kind of all about finding the right size that you want here. I think to be able to visualize this a little bit better, I'm actually then I'm going to cut it off at the bottom. Because I'm thinking that these will be, kind of like a contained background kind of deal. So we'll see how this looks once it's all done and make decisions from there. So this is just going to be sort of like the background bushes. I'm really mostly just worrying about how that top silhouette looks. Because then I'm going to be layering it with different colors and such. Okay. Now let's grab a lighter color and start with another layer and start going in on top of that. And just going to keep layering stuff up here. Go to this view so we can get a clear view of what's going on here. Hey, Sid. It's always funny trying to pronounce usernames that aren't like obviously someone's name. But welcome. So happy you're able to join, and thank you so much. Okay. Let's do another layer, grab another color. I think I'm also going to throw some darker tones back here. Oops. Some more shadows. By going lightly too, can add some more shadowy figures back there. All right, another color, another layer. I'm gonna grab this light lime green that I'm using to kind of show how the light is bouncing off of the plants from the fire. Oops, make that bigger. So I like to try to include that a little tighter around the fire. So create a layer of that. And then I'm going to go in again with some darker tones to kind of break everything up here. Thank you so much, Luke. Again, you're amazing. Thanks so much for giving everyone that information. And oh, thank you so much, Beth. Yeah, I really had a good time mixing up the format of the header sheet this month to include this really tall header. I'm really excited to use that. And it just felt right. Once I knew it was a campfire theme, I was like, well, I need like a big, tall campfire. It's just such a vertical thing. So I was very excited about that. And I was really happy to hear everyone was super down for the change in format. And I'll repeat again, if anyone's interested in receiving this sticker sheet for free, read the description. I have some information there about how if you make a $10 donation today to a BLM related organization, I'll send you this sticker sheet for free. So be sure to go ahead and read the description for the instructions there if you're interested. Okay, so let's do another layer. And now I'm going to go back to a darker green here. And I'm going to sprinkle that in here to create some depth. Okay, I really like that. So now that I have all of those guys, let me bring this header back so I can now, oops. So now I can sort of compare how those leaves look. I like them. I'm just going to use the curves tool in here. This is one of my best friends, and this is how I create the contrast I'm looking for. So the way the curves works is down here are your dark tones. Here are your light tones. So if you're dragging the curve up here, it means you're making your brights brighter. And if you drag it down here, it means you're making your darks darker. So I'll go to this view here. I'll redo what I did. So I want to just bring some more contrast to these. So I'm bringing all the darks to be a little bit darker, and then I'm bringing all the lights to be a little bit lighter. And here you can see a before and after, and it just makes everything look a lot more glowing. It punches everything up a bit more. I think I'm actually going to bring my lights just down a little bit so they're not quite so intense. And then I just like to just play around with this curve a little bit, see if there's anything else that I want to add. All right, so like that. Again, I'll bring my header in just so I can do a little comparison. And I like that. So now what I can do is separate these fires out into their different individual doodles. Hey, Sarah, glad you're able to join. I probably will still be live for another at least another hour. I definitely wanted to go for at least a couple hours today. So very happy to have you here and welcome. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and use this screenshot because it's already a rectangle. I'm going to put it underneath my fire and bushes. I'm actually also going to take these fires and put them on their own separate layer. And then I'm going to turn on the clipping masks on my fire and on my, actually, I'm going to wait a second before I do that. So I'm going to use this rectangle here to basically make these headers all the same size and carve them out into some cute rectangles. So I'm going to use this screenshot as my guide, and now I'll just copy and paste that so that way each of these little fire scenes are the exact same size. So let's do 3 of those like this. All right. Now I'm going to merge all 3 of those rectangles into the same layer. And now I'll turn on my clipping masks for both the bushes and my fire. Actually, I don't think I'm going to turn it on for my fire because I like having it sort of peek out from underneath. So I'm just going to do a clipping mask like that. And you know what? Now I'm like, I might as well make the backgrounds of these the blue sky that I have, because I could leave it like this, but I think it would be cooler to actually have the blue sky in there. So I'm going to go to my headers here, or even also the purple sky. I'm going to make this super easy on myself and just copy and paste my skies from here. So here are all of those skies with everything else erased. I'm going to copy all. I'll turn all these layers on again. Now let's go here. So I'm going to copy and paste that in. It already automatically put that clipping mask on. I'm just going to turn that off really quick though, so I can choose which skies I want here. So let's shrink this down and get rid of some of this so we can see them. Okay, and now let's start to grab some sky and drag it where we think we want it. Get rid of this, get rid of this. Okay. Now I'm like, I should actually probably just make the skies myself, because then I can actually not be like stretching them. Let me just see how this looks if I were to do that. So that's the idea there. But yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and do it myself anyways. So I'm just going to grab a bluish color first. And to do my sky, I'm using this nebula brush that I was talking about. I'm just going to create a layer here with a clipping mask again over my rectangles. So now when I use that brush, it'll stay inside my rectangles there. So let's go like this. choose a darker color, more teal. And first I use the bluish teal on the bottom. Actually, I need to make these squares black because that is what gives me the proper contrast on these to actually see what I'm doing. There we go. So I'll start with some bluish green stuff on the bottom, and then add another layer, choose a darker blue, and that will bring some bluish purple business up on top here. I'm trying not to push down very hard. That's how you make it. If you push down really hard with this brush, it just blows out to white because it kind of builds up the lightness as you increase pressure. So I'm going to go like that. I'm going to only mess with this layer here and darken it, up the saturation a bit. Now, let me, again, just bring in a screenshot of this so I can compare the colors, make sure everything matches together. Hey, Dominican Joe, just bought 6 monthly kits from my shop. Oh my God, that's so exciting. I'm so excited for you to receive them. Thank you so much, Trinity. I'm sorry you have to go, but I'm so glad you were able to hang out, and I hope you have a great rest of your weekend. Okay, so let me put this guy in here. Let's just see my colors. Okay. Let's see. My mic looks like It's beeping. Okay. How is that? So I had to plug my mic in. Jake is not here. But I think that it might, I don't know, it might have issues. It looks like it's all good now and everything is sounding good, but just yell at me in the chat again if you notice that it appears to have gone off. Let me see where my music is at. But I'm glad that at least we have it back now. And hopefully be all good to go. Let me also, while we're here, double check on this. All right. I don't know that my music is working in the background, but I'm not going to worry about it as long as you guys can hear me. All right. So back to what I was doing. Going to go and use my curves on my sky here. So again, I'm going to punch everything up. I'm going to make my darks darker. I'm going to make my lights lighter. And that's already looking pretty good. Maybe make my darks even darker. Like that. I'm going to grab some black because I think I do want to, darken some bits up here. Kind of just add some little dark pockets here and there. Okay. So I think those look pretty good. Let me go in with my curves one more time. Go in with my color slider just to make sure that everything is where I want it. Awesome. Wow, I really love how those have turned out. Do you guys think that I should do a border on these that is similar to this black and white border that I have on my headers? Caitlin asked if this is for September. Yes, I'm going to be using this for my September setup, and it's going to be sent out for August Patreon rewards. Later, Luke. Thanks so much for joining. I always appreciate you so much, and have a good weekend. Okay, so I think I'm going to do borders. So I'm going to go back here. I'm going to copy my borders layer. This is the easiest way to do this so that it's the same width and everything. Oops. Accidentally pressed the wrong thing. So we'll go copy. Go back here. Paste. Let me also turn my screen brightness back up just a touch. Okay, so let's pull our borders layer up here, turn off our clipping mask. And now I'm just going to grab one of these headers. Delete the rest. Turn it sideways. Oh, it's already the perfect size. How easy. Okay, so I am going to go like this. I'm then going to go like this and drag this bit up. And do it again. Just like that. Love it. I think I'll actually, oops, pull this all up a little bit more. Oops, oops, oops. There we go. Like that. Merge that down there. Pull all of this up a bit. All right, and now copy and paste that border. Yeah, Sarah Silva's asking how I line things up. If you can see easier on this angle, I have a 5mm dot grid as a background here. That's this grayish layer here. And that's how I keep things sized for my A5 or a standard 5mm grid and everything. It's just very low opacity in the background, so it's a little bit difficult to see at some of my angles. I think you can see the dots a little bit down here. Right. I really like those a lot. Yeah, these stickers I feel like I would use for just normal plain old decoration, especially in like the bottom corners of a page. I'm going to include 7 of these for sure, so you could use them as headers. It's kind of the same way for any stickers I use. It doesn't really necessarily matter the exact format. It's just like more the placement of them that kind of determines how you use them. But that's definitely what I'm imagining. Like laying in a header sticker right here going across would be really cool. And then maybe even like a little number sticker over the fire. You could use a white gel pen to write in a header. Yeah, Beck, that's kind of what I'm thinking is what I was thinking, like decoration under something, or on top of something as well could work. Yeah, I really like those. I'm going to now insert some stars. So I'm going to do another layer. I can merge these together. I'm going to do some stars in my sky here. Will you also be including your yearly tracker planner in your upcoming migration video? I'm not sure if you're talking about how I'm going to be having 2 journals or if you're talking about my yearly tracker sticker, but probably the answer is yes to both of those. Let me grab these. So I'll just take a little intermission to explain kind of my migration that's coming up. But right now I'm using this journal here. Excuse all the cat hair on it. This journal here, I was planning on doing a normal migration into this journal, but you might be able to see I'm already a very good way through it. This is what I have left, and this is everything I've used here. And I still haven't set up those migration spreads in the beginning. Let me turn this off really quick so I'm not accidentally drawing. Yeah, I still haven't set up my migration spreads. I still have all these blank pages here in the beginning. And that's kind of what I've been experiencing with my notebooks recently, is that I go through my journals a lot quicker because I'm doing a lot more daily logs than I was for a while. So then by the time I get to like where I have time to migrate, I'm already using more than half of the journal. So it sort of feels like a waste. It feels like I'm setting up all these like really good spreads in the start of my journal just to not get enough time to use them. So what I decided to do is have a totally separate notebook for my main like long-term spreads that I would normally migrate at the start of a notebook. Things like my future log, long-term trackers, collections that I would ideally like to have last like a whole year or longer, but that's just not possible with how quickly I go through my notebooks. So I purchased my next bullet journal and the second notebook that I'm going to be using as my collections or long-term notebook. So you can't really see the color accurately here, but this is a beautiful dark green notebook. This is going to be what I'm going to be using as my normal bullet journal. It's going to have my weeklies, my monthlies, my dailies, but I'm not going to start this with any sort of migration spreads. So this here is what I'm going to be using as my long-term spreads notebook. So this is going to have my future log, and it's going to enable me to actually set spreads up that I'll ideally be able to use for a really long time. This has 192 pages, so what I'm thinking is I could ideally set up like a full year's future log, maybe even longer, like a 2-year future log, so I can really make future plans a bit more easily. And then I can set up any sort of collections pages I want in here. Anything that I set up in my normal journals that I find that my journal doesn't last long enough for me to really utilize that spread. This is something I've been thinking of doing for a while, but just haven't pulled the trigger on. But I finally am. So, what I decided I'm going to do is I'm not going to bother trying to still create migration spreads in the beginning of this journal. Again, I don't have very much left in it anyways, and I just feel like if I were to do a migration into this journal, it would just be for the video. It would not be super functional because I wouldn't really get to use those spreads in a long-term way. I would probably only get to use them for another month or so. So I'm really, really excited about that change. I'm excited to jump into this journal instead, do a migration into this journal for my next migration video, and then continue to do videos of more long-term spreads that I'm setting up in this journal. So I'm really excited about that. I think it's going to work really well. And I think it's finally going to give me the space to set up longer term spreads without this nagging thought of like, oh, I'm only going to be able to use this journal for 4 months anyways. And I really got that feeling. After this journal. This was my last journal, which was February through May. And I did a migration setup in the beginning of this journal here. I don't know if you guys remember this. Here, I'll zoom out a little bit as well, so you guys can see what's going on a little bit better. But I set up migration spreads in the beginning of this journal, and I loved these spreads so much. I had my future log, my wish list, gift ideas, goals and affirmations, monthly reflection. I then had my yearly trackers here, which worked so well for me for the like 3 months that I used this journal. And you can see I used the heck out of these. I was tracking social media. It was great. Ideas and collections. My bills tracker, which I loved, things to check out, and then my grid spacing. So I had all these spreads and loved them so much. And then I went through this journal in like 3 months, and all of a sudden I was like, oh, like I would have to keep busting out this old journal to keep using these spreads, which I didn't want to have to do. So I just stopped using these and haven't migrated yet into my new one. And that's what put me in the position where I'm like, I want to keep using these spreads, but I don't want to have to be like half in an old journal and half in a new journal. So I'm just going to create all of these types of spreads in a separate journal, and I will officially be trying out a 2 journal system. I haven't done that ever. I've only ever had one bullet journal and one planner. That's it. Just one notebook as my all in one. But I'm really excited about this new system. I feel like I also, when I would travel around with my journals more, like when I was in school, or when I didn't work at home and I was carrying them around with me more often. I feel like that's why when I didn't really ever consider just having a second journal. But I don't really have to bring my journals around anywhere too much. I'm very much, especially ever since quarantine and everything, I'm just at home all the time. So I'm really excited to utilize this second journal and bring you guys along on that journey, full migration video, and talk about this new kind of development to my system that I'll be trying out. But that was a great question. Thank you for asking about that, because I am really excited to try that out. Oh, can I include my little sign here? Okay. But yeah, thank you for asking about that, because I see all of you pretty much stuck in here for me spieling about that. But I think it's because we all do find it interesting hearing about how people are changing their setup around and experimenting with things, especially those of us, I think, who have been bullet journaling for a while at this point, where, you know, like I'm not scared of trying to change my system ever. I feel like that's how I find things that work better for me. That's how I grow and develop as a person and as somebody who uses an analog planning system. And for me, that's always been the whole point of bullet journaling, is that it's not really a defined thing. I think in the beginning it more so was when Ryder Carroll was more involved, because he was the one that created the system. And I think, again, when he was more involved in everything, it created more of an idea that there's like, some sort of definition to bullet journaling. And I think now it's a lot more like, when I describe bullet journaling to people, I say it's just taking a normal notebook and turning it into what you want it to be. For most people, that means a planner of sorts. But at this point, I know a lot of people whose bullet journals are more of a memory keeping system. I know people who use it only for planning. I know people who have specific bullet journals for their jobs, stuff like that. But I really feel like at this point, it's whatever you want it to be. That's why when people um, who are just starting out with bullet journaling or trying to figure out the system, when you get too stressed out or kind of like locked into this idea that there's like a right way to bullet journal and you need to figure out that right way, otherwise it's not bullet journaling. I'm like, I just don't agree with that. I think that you can turn it into literally anything you want, and beyond that it doesn't matter. More than anything, it should just be working for you. And if something isn't working for you, then you don't have to keep trying to beat it into your system and make that happen. You can try adjusting it. So I'm really excited to try that. Every little change I've made to my system recently, this year, I've really, I think, been going outside of my standard a little bit more with like my weekly dashboards and changing up how I monthly plan and all of that. It's been working so well for me. That's why I've been going through my notebook so quickly, is just because it's all just working for me so well. Oh, this also, Jake, the mic like ran out of battery, so I had to plug it in. it looks like it's working fine, but just wanted to let you know.
Does it have like a buzzing sound?
Nobody said anything about a buzzing sound, but it could, because I know that we were having an issue before when it was plugged in. But I just did that. And the music is now doing the same thing where it's like not, yeah, just where it's not playing, but that's not really too priority. I don't think anybody minds too much about the music not being there. Okay, so those are those decorative bits pretty much done. So what I'm going to do is grab those and I'm going to size them down so that I'll have enough room to put 4 in a row. I think I can also merge all those now. Actually, no, because I want to mix them up a little bit. Okay, so actually, let me just move this camera slightly. Like that. All right, so I'm going to copy my stars down, but then from there, I'm just going to go ahead and duplicate each of those layers and start to lay in a 4th one here. And I'm actually going to do that by mixing up. I'm going to grab one sky, move that over here, and then I'm going to grab, actually I'm going to turn that sky around so it's not exactly the same. Merge that down, and now we'll grab some different bushes here. If I grab like something more in between, then it'll be totally different than the other ones. Ooh, ramen sounds so good. Yeah, that's if I had a daughter who was looking for a way to stay organized with school, I would definitely recommend bullet journaling as well. That's the whole reason that I started bullet journaling, was because I was in school and struggling. I was always fine with like I was fine in high school, but then once I got to college, it just like I was not organized enough for that. So I found bullet journaling and it just changed everything, changed the game 100%. Luna is so close to the camera right now. Yeah, are you really close to the camera? But yeah, I found bullet journaling in school and it just changed my life basically. And that's why I still do it, because it just genuinely worked. It was the only thing that I felt like really did work when it came to school and being able to handle that workload. And yeah, just have never looked back since. She wants it completely Halloween theme. That is iconic. That's amazing. Just like, I want a year-round Halloween theme, please. And you're like, deal. I got it. What do I do with my old notebooks? I have them all in a line in my office, sitting there, and I actually look through them like pretty, I mean, I guess not super regularly, but I look through them similar to like a photo album of memories. And I like to go through and read through my days and read my one line a day daily review spreads. To kind of like, I especially like going into an old notebook and flipping back to this same day in a different year to see what I was doing around that time. So that is what I have. And as you can see, I was able to pull my last notebook because I usually keep my most recent one or two notebooks very close by on hand. So that way I can reference recent spreads that I've created. All right, so now let's create 4 more of those. Again, I want there to be 8. Well, really, I just care about there being 7, but I'm going to create 8 of them so that you can use these for the days of the week if you wanted. So I'm going to go like this. I'm going to then copy my fires, and I'm going to mix my fires around here so that all of these headers are, all a little bit different. This one over here. Let's see. Now I'll also change up some of the details on the fires. Again, just to add like a little bit more of a unique flair to them. Like that. Sasha, I'm using the app Procreate on the Apple iPad with the Apple Pencil. Make more Halloween stickers. Again, I think I'm going to be doing another Halloween theme this year. I was thinking something with doing another kind of inspired theme with black cats would be awesome. My other Halloween themes I already have are from the last 2 years. I have my Hocus Pocus theme, which is focused on like magic, like cauldrons and potion spells and stuff like that. There's also like some rats and snakes in there. It's like a purplish, greenish, orangish theme. I really love that one. And then I also last year created the Halloween pumpkin theme, which is like a jack-o'-lantern, scarecrow, like pumpkin field type theme. And that was last year's. I think I actually ended up releasing that after Halloween already ended, um, except for patrons. I think patrons are the only ones who received it for Halloween. So I'm excited to have like a second run of that for this year because I feel like that one definitely didn't end up getting, used as much as it would. But I love that theme. I'm definitely going to be using the pumpkins again for some spreads this year. Mm. Jake got me this iced tea while he was out. It's raspberry chamomile, and I just took a sip and just had to tell you that it is really, really good. Brewed herbal tea. Mm. Delicious. Okay. Fun. So those are some really cool pieces of decoration. I'm excited about that. So now what? So one thing I kind of want to see is if just play around with these. No, I feel like I like them at that size. Let me see about potentially making the colors any different for these. Some of this kit is a little bit more, or like for the headers, I created half of them a little bit more greenish bluish, and then the other two here I created a little bit more purpley. So I'm thinking of maybe mixing up the colors on some of these. So I think maybe I'll just grab every other one like this. Actually, maybe I'll grab the ones that are already a bit more purpley. So I'll just grab these outside ones here. And I'm going to go into color balance and mess around with things here a bit to make things more purple. So most of my blues are going to be existing in the highlights. So I'll add some magenta to those. I will, let's see, just mess around with all this stuff a little bit to make everything look a little bit more purple. And then I'll go in here. Like that. So now I have a little bit more variation there. I think I'm now also going to add a shadow layer above my leaves because I want to just vignette everything a little bit. So what I'm going to do is grab an airbrush, create a clipping mask here. Actually undo this clipping mask real quick. Turn this one on, and now I'm going to just create a little slightly darker section on the outside of each header to make it look even more like the fire is like glowing on these bushes. So this is just a multiply layer, which it creates a nice shadow using some black. Just going to lay that in like that. And now I'm going to lighten that a little bit, merge that down, turn clipping mask back on. And now I think I'll do a final curves adjustment to that layer to make that a little bit more dramatic. Oh, no worries, Erica. yeah, again, I think that I'm thinking of maybe doing more of like a black cat theme, but it'll just be up to the vote. So you can always, Luna decided to peace out. So, yeah, you can always just wait for, you know, the theme announcement to happen and then choose if you want to increase your pledge again. Oh yeah, somebody was asking what themes I think would match this one. Definitely, I agree with Caitlin. The Fireflies, Starry Night would match. It'd be, I think, fun to like see a side by side of some of my camping stickers from the camping monthly kit. It was a very different vibe on that kit, a lot more pastel, but some of the stickers would work super well, particularly the decorative sheet, the camping and exploring sheet. Let me actually see if I can pull that up here. Let's see here. Show. You go to the bottom of my site, there's a search, camping. This sheet here, I think would be a fun pairing. It's got like some of the trees, some lanterns, some camper vans. I feel like the trees, the lanterns, and these little decorative circles specifically would go pretty well with this collection, just to kind of add like a different look to it for some spreads. Okay, so I got the campfire there. You know, also, what do we think also potentially about, because like we could do all of these with fires, but we could also do it so that some of them just have our little creatures in them, which might actually be really cute. So I am just going to like test that out to see how it looks by just cutting and pasting these fires onto a separate layer. Also, let me actually merge these details down first. So if I cut and paste these fires to a different layer, now I'll copy this. Let me see how it would look if I were to have some of these guys chilling in here. I actually feel like I would want a different hedgehog, like from the front. But yeah, let me see if I like the idea of that. Now, let me see if I were to change the color of this guy. Only thing is that Luna kind of blends in a bit there. But I also like the idea of maybe these bushes being a bit lower. maybe. And then we can could even do a tree, something like that, kind of mixing up half of them. I do like the idea of that, so let me keep playing around. Let's do our color balance. Something like that, be like. And then maybe even have our fire more coming up like this. Yes, I like that. Cute. Cute, cute, cute. Okay. So something like that for all of these. So I think I'll take this excuse to start drawing some more little animals. I like our Luna like that. But I'm not sure that my other animals would fit these best in this format. Let me see. Let me see if I were to have them in the same style, how that would. That's actually cute. I like our bear like that. Yeah, I like him like that actually. Let me make it look like our fire is glowing somewhere over here. Maybe I'll just leave these two as animals, and I can make the other two maybe more focused on some trees. Let me also, I think I want to make the bushes on this, oops, taller again. Like that. Oops. Let me actually flip that around. Maybe not that one. Now let's draw ground in again. That, create our glow on that. Cute. And now with these, it's actually all right. Yeah, let's do maybe some silhouetted trees in the backgrounds of these two. And I think also what I'm going to do here is merge this down with this now. And then I'm going to cut these two, bring them up here, bring these two up here, just for layout purposes. Bring these fires up here. So we can have like an alternating layout. Now bring these back down. Perfect. Okay, so I think I'm going to go back here and I'm going to grab some of my trees. These guys here I want. So I'm going to grab you. I'm going to grab you. What else? Let's grab you. This big boy. And we'll start there. Paste these guys in. Oh, I shouldn't have merged my sky and my leaves because that'll make this a little bit harder on me. But it shouldn't be too big a deal. So I'm just going to deal with it. All right, grab these grab these trees, bring them down, and now I'm going to add in a couple of these here. So I'm just going to decrease the opacity of that, and I'm going to go like this, and this is how I'm going to make it so that they're coming out from behind these leaves, just doing it kind of manually.
Love you.
Love you. And now I'm going to go to my tree layer. Oops, not do that. Go to my tree layer, use my erase tool, and erase everything within those outlines that I did. I think the GoPro might have actually run out on.
Oh.
Yeah, Luna. Over to this guy here. Sorry about that, guys. I think the sound.
Oh, it is through the. It's because of it charging both of the mic and the GoPro at the same time.
Oh, gotcha.
It's because it's just putting power out over that same line.
Okay. Sorry about that, guys. Some tech details.
Yeah, we'll just have to get another power plug for both of those.
Yeah, and just have them.
The same.
Yeah. Can't hear me anymore? Super quiet. Let's see. Okay, we can hear you now, it says. So, all right, let me know if the sound is all good now, you guys. If I'm not too quiet or anything. It looks like based on my levels, we should be fine. Okay, sounds fine for me. Things sound fine now. Okay, perfect. So sorry about that, guys.
All right, I love you.
I love you. We have our Luna cam back. All right, perfect. I'm glad it's all fixed. I hope I didn't scare too many people away with the very loud sound that was happening. Okay. So I'm also thinking that maybe we can add this tree here to one of our headers, kind of in the background. Let's see. See you later, Brigitte. Thanks so much for joining. Oh, a moon in one of these would be a good idea. Let's see here. Let me see if I like how this tree, oops, looks in the background here. If I don't like it, then I'll just get rid of it. Let me do the same thing I did before here. Look at that. I like that. I'm actually also going to cut my fires off there. A moon or a shooting star. That's a good idea as well. Let's see. These are definitely coming together. I think I'll add maybe some moonage to these silhouetted tree guys. But look how awesome these are looking. I love that variety. I think that really looks a lot better than just having them all be fires. And yeah, I think these will be really easy, either decoration or like header backgrounds that anyone can use. But yeah, really love how that's looking. Okay, I'm going to add some more stars because I'm missing some here that I should have now that I moved those fires. What, Luna? Are you mad that daddy left? Are you stressed? She's not actually stressed. But yeah, sometimes when Jake leaves, she'll like just kind of go looking for him real quick to make sure he's not still home. All right. Your meal is ready. How are you keeping the color only in the boxes and not getting on the original page? So the key is clipping masks. So I've merged everything down now, but you can see that initially I just had black rectangles. Those are now looking like this since I've merged everything down. But so I have these base rectangles here. So then any layer above that, like if you look at this layer and this layer, and if you see how there's a little arrow next to them, that's because this clipping mask is on. So if I turn the clipping mask, oops, let me actually make these visible. But so if I turn these on with the clipping mask, that cuts them at the border of that layer underneath. And you can see if I turn that clipping mask off, everything comes out from over the edges. You can see Luna's hammock and the tent of the bear. Here's with the, and that's like the fires coming from below. So the clipping mask constrains that layer to the layer underneath. And if you have multiple layers with a clipping mask, it all refers to the same underneath layer. Hope that makes sense, Kara. Okay, so let's see about doing some. Yeah, so the clipping mask goes on the rectangles. Let me kind of give you a small clipping mask tutorial so you can see more what's happening here. So here is a shape. We'll do a circle. So then if I do a layer above my circle here, and let's go over with a color, and I do that. And I want it to be so that this high is constrained to that circle underneath. I don't want these bits here that are going off of it. So that layer is above the circle. If I turn on the clipping mask, it constrains to the circle. So now if I move that circle around, you can see that the layer above it is clipped to it. So it's only going to show up in that layer. If I add things to this circle layer, it will reveal. What? Come here, Luna. Come hang out with me. Instead of just meowing. But yeah, it's constrained to that layer. So if I add another layer on top of my high and on top of my black layer, and let's do a new thing. If I turn the clipping mask on that, because the layer underneath still has a clipping mask on it, if I turn the clipping mask on the heart, it will also be constrained to my circle. Now, if I turn off all those clipping masks and I have the high, I have my circle here, I have my high layer, and then I have my heart layer. If I turn on my heart clipping mask now, it's constrained to the high because that is the closest layer underneath it that doesn't have a clipping mask on. So then if I turn the high clipping mask on again, now it's all just constrained to the circle. So that's clipping masks. They've been my best friend since I've discovered them, which has been pretty recently. But yeah, because what I used to do, which was much more of a pain, is I would automatically select the layer I wanted to be constrained in, and then add a new layer. And now I have that part only selected. But what's nice about the clipping masks is that you can keep that above layer intact. So if I want to have this heart constrained and I do the clipping mask, it's nice because that heart still exists in its, in its completeness. It still is under there. It's just part of it is being hidden. So I find that very useful. And that's what I'm using for a lot of what I'm doing in these monthly kits. Like if you look at my headers layer, all of these layers above my rectangles here, I have my rectangles on the bottom here, and then every layer above that has a clipping mask. So it's all being contained to those rectangles. And you can see that as this builds up. Without the clipping mask, that's when everything looks like crazy. It looks like this without clipping masks. Everything still is existing underneath all of that. But by clipping all of these to that bottom rectangle layer like this, that's what makes it so that everything stays contained in that. And it's a big hack. So there's my mini clipping mask tutorial. See you later, Riku. So glad that your egg turned out perfectly, and thank you so much for being here. Let me grab that Luna cat and see if she wants to hang out. Come here. It's just you and me here, baby. It's just you and me. You want to be on my desk? Yeah. Come over here, Luna. Come here. Are you going to your chair? Yeah, go down to your chair. Where do you want to lie down? On the desk? Right on everything? She's finding her spot. Want me to move these journals? There you go. There you go. Let me grab the Luna cam, reposition it. Where are you going to go? Come here, you little baby. There you go. I convinced her to go back in her spot. Hopefully she stays there. Yeah, are you really cute, Luna? Are you really cute? Sweet girl. All right, let's get back to business. All right, so I got all of these done. Oh, I said I was maybe going to add a moon to one of these, so let's do that. Oops. Thank you so much, Jonathan. I'm so happy you're enjoying the chill vibes. If anyone is really enjoying this live stream and is interested in being able to attend more than just the public YouTube ones I usually do one public YouTube live stream a month. But I do 7 live streams on Patreon a month. So I'm live streaming multiple times a week on Patreon. So if you are enjoying this and want to join in on more regular live streams, I recommend joining the $3, $5, or $10 Patreon levels. Those are the different live stream levels, and you get more live streams as you go up. So if you're $10 or more, that's where you get access to, let me try this again. You get access to all of the live streams every month. But same vibes always for those. It's usually just us hanging out, chatting just like this, and I love that I can always get your guys' feedback on different things that I'm creating, which is definitely my favorite part. God, why can I not just do a moon shape? Third tries a charm. Exactly, Beck. You should also know that the live streams are hilarious. Oh, thank you, Joey. I'm glad you were able to pop back in and see the progress. Okay. Finally, there's a moon I can settle with. Like that. And then maybe a shooting star kind of dealio on this one. We'll grab one of these flare like that. I'm going to put some text. Oops. Wrong brush. Like that. All right. I think I'm going to call it done with these guys down here. I love them. So now I'm going to include some just individual fires like I was doing initially. I'm going to make those a bit smaller, and I'm going to, again, try to include 7 in total. I also always have 2 different decorative sheets in each collection. One is the single like doodle sheet, and the other one is the 3rd sheet of the monthly kit. So What I've been doing is making those a bit different and having them focus in on different things. So I'm not sure yet if this is going to be for the monthly kit or if this is going to be the individual decorative sheet, but we will see. I usually just start doing all of the doodles and then I'm able to figure out sort of which sheet which belongs best with. Oh, do a low opacity white in between here. It's a good idea. Good idea. Oops. Like so. Alrighty, so now I got my 3 fires here. So I'm just going to, I'm gonna layer them up one more time so that everything is a bit more poppy and colorful. I'm gonna copy and paste those now and create another row of them. Let me actually, I'll layer those up one more time like that. And now let me actually make sure that these are all sort of the same size-ish. Like that. All right, now let's copy paste. And now I think I'm going to do the same thing where I'm going to delete some of the details of these second fires and then go in and add some extra bits just to make it different from the other ones. Just at least ever so slightly. So I'm going to go like that. I'm going to do a layer, I think, try on top, grab a color, grab my light brush, and start to add some stuff in here. I like that one. Oh, the shooting star is a full page background type quote page. dealio. I will definitely keep that in mind. Maybe for the Patreon only sheet or for some downloads that will match this. I like that idea though. All right, I'm gonna use my curves on that layer to bring everything to the proper intensity here. Like that, love it. Now I'm gonna create some little embers and such that are floating away. Like so. Let's shrink these guys down. Oops. To these same height. I have not purchased any brushes. So anyone who's wondering, all the brushes I'm using are completely free and included in Procreate. The only thing that I typically do to my brushes is I do tweak them a little bit. And there's very specific things that I do. The main thing is streamline. I like to turn my streamline up on my brushes usually. This is what makes them really smooth, and it makes it so that they're not jittery at all. It's the difference between, I will show you, between this stroke. Here, I'll even change to this so you can see. So these are without streamline. You can see how the little jitters in my hand are very apparent. And then I had this at 42% streamline. That's streamline. So, oops. So it basically just smoothens things out a bit. I usually have it around 90 or 80% on my standard brushes, like my studio pen here, which is what I used for all of the drawing and everything and all my lettering. I use the studio pen, and that I have set to a very high streamline. You can see 87%, which makes it super smooth. And it just makes it so all curves and stuff are super smooth in there. So that's the main adjustment I make to my brushes. And then some of the brushes have weird settings for like the size restrictions, or when it comes to the pencil, I like to make sure that the pressure and size are correlated. But yeah, getting kind of aware of the settings within the brushes themselves is really useful, because that way, if there's something about a brush you don't like, you can usually just change that on your own. But that just, requires being more aware of those settings and what everything does in there. But if you want to have a little bit more control over what you're doing and be able to adjust the free brushes to work for what you're doing, I definitely recommend just digging into those settings a little bit and, figuring some stuff out in there, because definitely useful when it comes to really getting what you want out of your brushes. I also am going to do another reminder right now for anyone who maybe didn't hear any of my announcements earlier in the stream, that I am doing a donation offer right now. If you donate $10 or more to any organization that focuses on racial equality or supporting Black lives, Or if you do a $10 or more super chat in the chat right now, that will also be entirely donated. I will send you this sticker sheet for free. This is the sheet of headers for this collection. So if you make a donation, be sure to, of $10 or more, be sure to email me, contact@planningwithkay.com with a screenshot of your donation, your full name, and your address. And I will send this free sticker sheet out for you guys. So yeah, I wanted to remind you of that. Not only is it a great time as any time to make a donation and support Black Lives, but I will also send you a free sticker sheet before it gets sent to anyone else. You'll actually receive this sticker sheet even before Patreon rewards ship out and everything. So if you want to get your hands on this sheet of headers here, go make a $10 or more donation, or throw $10 or more into the super chat right now, and I'll send you this free sticker sheet. I really recommend you guys take advantage of that. And even if you don't want the sticker sheet, I recommend you make a donation or go support a Black-owned shop, stationery shop, sticker shop. I have some tagged in my stories from some purchases that I made the other day. And I also have a highlight on my Instagram profile called BLM Resources, where I have a ton of accounts and shops tagged as well. So definitely recommend you guys go support that today. And if you do donate $10 or more, let me know and I'll send out some free stickers your way. Okay. I'm going to fill out this fire a little bit, actually. Fill all of these out. Make these some roaring fires. Cool. All right, I like those. Let me add a couple more details in these. Like my, oops. My little swirly dudes. Like that. Some more little white speckles, embers floating up. Oh, maybe just some normal tents on the decorative sheet. I'll definitely keep that in mind. I think that one of the decorative sheets is going to focus more on the fire things like we're kind of doing here. And then that might be just the individual doodle sheet might have like this kind of stuff. Maybe here is where I'll put some individual tents and some other sort of camping things. And then the other one will maybe focus on my little animal creatures, some trees. Those are sort of some ideas that are floating around, but I'll definitely keep the tents in mind. So I am going to merge this down. I'm going to cut these animals out and have them on their own layer. And I feel like I probably want to do another set of fires because I feel like it is the campfire theme. So it is pretty much the main component. And then I would have enough for, again, them to possibly be weekly headers, having at least 7. I could even do 5 and 5. I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to go like this. Then let's get rid of one from this side. Maybe this one. 5 and 5 like that. Awesome. And then do we like these just how they are with no sort of background on them or anything? I feel like I do. I feel like I like them like this. It'll be like easy to use and just kind of put them wherever they will fit on your spread. Because the other thing I could do is do like some sort of offset background on them, but I think, oops, I think I like them just on their own. I'll just do like one practice one just to see so we can really make an informed decision. Because what I like about them just being on their own is then you can make a scene with them. But again, I'm just going to real quick test out what it would look like if we actually wanted some with a background, which would look, something sort of like that. But yeah, I think I'll just leave it without backgrounds so that way they can be easily placed around unless anyone feels super strongly about having that backgrounds on there. All right. Actually, let me just back up to redo that. There we go. Okay. I'm going to actually remove my background layer here because now I can see these, here you can see these like low opacity bits that are still hanging out. These are really going to mess me up when I'm creating my sticker lines around here. So this is where I'm now going to go in with my eraser and clean up all of these edges. So that way, when I go to create the sticker lines, we won't have any issues. So I'm just going to go ahead and clean all of these up. This is the kind of thing that I've learned through time because of when I drag these into my software and I'm trying to create my offset lines and all of a sudden the lines are like super far away from the drawing. I'm like, why is that happening? And it's because there's all of this nearly invisible stuff that's hanging around that unless you know to look for it, you don't really see. So I'm going to cut my glow on some of these. Just again, that glow will look a lot more just like a random empty space once the stickers are actually created. So let's go ahead and do all of that. Somebody asked, are these meant to fit in a certain size planner? I plan in an A5 notebook, so I definitely design them mostly with an A5 in mind. And again, the standard grid in most notebooks, regardless of how big the notebook is typically a 5mm dot grid. That's just like the standard. But that being said, I know plenty of customers of mine who use these in different size planners. I know a lot of people who do it in a is it a is it B5 or B6, whatever the more standard, like larger size notebook than A5. I know quite a few people who use these in that size notebook as well. I know people who use these in a traveler size notebook, which is smaller. Um, so they're really flexible. It's not so much uh, like Erin Condren type planners or like happy planners where people will design stickers that are very specifically meant for that. Um, it's definitely, I think, they can be worked to fit into pretty much whatever size notebook you're using. Um, yeah. So I think it's just more about figuring out what works for you. And my different listings are sort of all focused on different sizing. Like my monthly kit headers obviously are the longest. Well, this isn't even a good example because I changed it up. But like my typical sheet one is where I have these very long headers. So, that might work better or worse in your notebook depending on what size you're using, or you might just have to use it a little bit differently. Okay, so I think I cleaned up. Oh no, I still have to do these other fires here. Again, really trying to find all of those little bits of low opacity that are hanging around so that way they're not going to mess me up later. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me and joining me today, by the way, especially all of you that have been here for hours with me. I just love live streaming so much. Ever since I started my Patreon is when I really got into live streaming. And yeah, I just really like being able to talk and hang out with you guys and have our dynamic exist, not just in like the one way video kind of like way that it exists on YouTube, where there's not so much of that live interaction happening between me and you guys. And that's why I really love doing these. I love getting your live input on things I'm designing, especially since everything usually ends up, being available for y'all to purchase. It's just really nice to be able to get that feedback and to feel, excited about something together in such a cool, intimate way. I love it. I love it so much. And I'm just always so grateful to those of you that enjoy it as well and are willing to, sit staring at your computer for hours with me, watching me draw things. It's really special. It's a really cool part of this community that I've really grown to appreciate, especially since quarantine. I can't even describe how much I appreciate it because it's really a lot of my conversation and interaction is on these live streams these days since, I'm not having so much social interaction happening outside of my like really close group. So, yeah, I really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. All right, so those are all cleaned up. Let's turn our background back on. So go back to here. All right. I'm trying to think if I want to do anything else today, but we've been going for almost 3 hours and I feel like I just reached a decent stopping point having these fires done and having these bits done at the bottom. So I think that I'm going to wrap up this stream in a second. I really, really am so happy with how these turned out. I had really no plan to create these little mini scenes like this, but when I was creating the fires in the beginning, it just sort of happened. And I don't know, it's just I really, really love how this is turning out. Again, with those first headers as well. I'm just really excited to be able to start using this collection. I'll pull up our first headers again so we can take another look at those. And for those of you um, who are really enjoying um, this theme, you can join Patreon to receive it before it goes up in the shop. I'm ahead of schedule this month, so things should be shipping out much sooner in the month than they normally would. So, again, if you guys are interested in receiving this collection, you can sign up for Patreon. Even if you just want to check out Patreon to try it out, you can join any of the lower dollar amount levels to try out all the digital downloads, live streams, coupon codes, all the other fun stuff that we have going on over on Patreon. I also want to remind you one more time that you can get your hands on this sheet right here, this header sheet, if you donate $10 or more to any such organization today. Don't forget about that. Even after this live stream and everything, if you want to participate in that and receive this sheet of headers, I'll still have that open and available as an offer for you guys to take advantage of. Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I want to kind of announce or say during this stream right now, but I think that's pretty much it. I'm going to be, I'll actually pull up my live stream schedule really quick, just in case, just in case any of you want to continue to watch me finish the designs for this collection. I'm going to be doing that during all of my Patreon live streams that are coming up. So I have a live stream on Monday. That is going to be a $3 plus live stream. So let me switch over to this camera. So if you join the $3 level on Patreon or any higher, you'll get access to our Monday live stream where I'm going to continue designing these streams or designing this collection. I also then have a $10 live stream on Wednesday, and I got some other live streams coming up throughout the month. But yeah, these are the 2 live streams coming up for this next week in case you're interested. And I think with that, I am going to end this stream the way I've been ending most of my Patreon live streams, which is with some Luna snuggles. So I'm just going to go give Luna lots of scratches. And let me see, maybe I can even, I know I can't, but yeah, I'm just going to go give Luna some loves and give her some close-up scratches for you guys so you can watch me just pet Luna, some cat petting ASMR. But I think with that, guys, that is going to be it for this stream. Thank you so, so much for hanging out with me today and watching. Don't forget to join Patreon if you want to gain access to any of the other content I'm constantly putting out throughout the month. And yeah, I just appreciate you guys so much for being here. Thank you for watching me design today. So without any further ado, I'm going to go over to Luna and give her some Luna scratches. All right, everybody. Thank you to all 30 of you who stuck around just to watch Luna get lots of good pets. She's very happy now and conked out, you can see. But thank you guys so much again for joining. I appreciate you all so much. Don't forget to shoot me an email if you make a $10 plus donation to any sort of BLM related cause today. And I'll see you next time. Have a great, great rest of your weekend, everybody, and happy planning. See ya.